Thanks for joining. Here's a quick clip of the TLDR. Here's what I'll be walking through is just an execute on A and B Ascent, why I do what I do, and the timing of each one of these utilities. So here's the A hit, and then I'll also be walking through what a B combination of utility looks like when you're using the entire KAYO kit. The Nade, Dagger, and the Flash. So if you want to stick around, we're going to jump into why I do these things and a little bit more about the timing. Hey everyone, this video is going to be a little different from what you're used to seeing from me. It's going to be a bit more casual and informal. Some of you have asked me if I do coaching or if I could show a video of me actually playing the game or just a really deeper dive into how to play KAYO. So today I want to show a little bit of how I might execute on a site on Ascent attacking A and B. So we'll first start with the Dagger. So I'm going to open up the map here and I'm going to show you the three most common spots. One here in this divot. Clears out garden. The next one is here in the hall, clears out the short, and then this one clears out on site. So here we're going to walk through this first one, which is the most common, kind of like my default dagger. I'll just throw it into this little corner. So when you throw it into this corner here, it clears off anybody who's sitting in this tree area or the left side of the entrance. And so it's really helpful because when you're attacking and you're going in, it'll tell you if you need to look left. And if there's nobody in here, chances are to be smoked. You can clear out the corners on the right. So it's really to get accurate information on this left for anybody pushing. The second dagger is to clear for anybody who's sniping. Sometimes you'll see like a chamber or a jet. And it's really just to try to get them off of this angle for your team. Pre-round, you can just throw it over this little wall here and it'll make sure that it suppresses them. The thing is, this doesn't mean that they're going to move off this angle. It's just to give you information and suppress them. So she can't dash away, they can't teleport. Sometimes that'll draw them away. More aggressive players will take this shot. And the third dagger here was going to go into the site here, just on the dices here. So if you're able to clear this corner, this is good for if you're playing against any sentinel, like a Killjoy, a Cypher, or a Chamber. It clears the most amount of area on the site so that it can suppress them. So here's a lineup for that. It's in one of my videos from my Ascent Dagger videos, but if you just look at this cloud on the right horn, you just toss it over and it lands right in the center of the site. What's great about this is if somebody kills it, then you'll know that they're on site. But if they don't, then you'll get some information, you know, if anybody's sitting behind dices, if they're in hell. In summary, here are the three daggers, one in the corner, one clears halls, and then trying to get it as close to the center of the site as possible. Shutting them down. So next are my flash grenades here. So the first one is a pop flash for anybody peeking a main. So this is really for your teammates. As they're about to peek this, you want to time this right. You just want to aim at this roof here and just toss it over. This lands on the other side of this roof, and no one on your team will get flashed, but if somebody's aiming this corner, they'll get flashed, and your teammates will be able to push this corner. So as you see, the flash lands right under the roof here. And if you time it right, this can really be the difference maker between getting your teammate killed or getting them a kill. So if you don't want to do a lineup, when the round starts and the barrier drops, you can just throw it over this wall here, bounce it, and it'll clear out this corner, or they can stay and get flashed. And then the third flash is when you're going on site, you want to hug against this wall, aim at this cloud, and toss it over. This is a really simple flash. If you can time this right with your teammates, this will provide a lot of cover for you getting into these arches here. So when you're looking up, it may not look like it's doing a lot, but this is really to clear anybody back of sight. So if you look up, this is where the flash hits. So it's part of their screen. The only way to evade this is if they're planning to play anti-flash. So even behind Gen, if you're hitting it in the right angle, they will see it. Like somebody even on Heaven here, for example, it's right in their cross line, it's right in their angle. So it may look high on this other side, but it is right in their screen. And then the final flash is if somebody smokes here in the arches, you just want to pop flash out with the right click and aim. If you have information from your dagger that they're on your left, you pop flash to the right, aim to the left. If you daggered to the left and no one was there, you pop flash to the left and you aim to the right. So it just depends on playing with your full kit, and I'm playing out the information that your dagger gathered for you. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Nade. And there's so much versatility in how to use the Nade. It's really just to clear off close corners, such as like wine, if they may have pushed it, or if they're playing aggressive, or when you're getting into sight, you're clearing arches. You can really clear a lot of corners with this so that you don't have to aim these lanes. When you're able to close these lanes, you're able to take away that element of surprise or anybody hiding these close corners. You can focus on other corners, you can clear out dice, just aim a little bit higher than Heaven here, bounce it off the back wall. Clear out these corners so that you can just focus on certain angles for your team. And you can really just push together and know where you're going to be aiming and have less of a percentage of the enemy surprising you behind a box. And then a nice lineup for a nade, which I usually use when I'm pushing. You just hug up against this wall at this door, lots of room for error. You aim up at this cloud here, and so if you notice, there's this big cloud, but in this very center, there's an area with no cloud. It's literally just blank. It's super easy. You just put your crosshair on this little area and throw your nade. And this lands at an angle that clears off the back and the right side. So if there's anybody hiding behind the gen, they have to push out, and this gives an opportunity with timing for your teammates to punish them as they're peeking out. So here's a combination of what that looks like. You throw the grenade, you throw the flash, and you execute at the same time. If there's a person playing behind Jenny, they're forced to come out. Most of the times, if you're playing with a team that has good comms, you'll be setting up your execution here, and here's what the timing might look like.
Suppressor. Grenade. Flashbang.
And that's it. And now we're going to head over to B. B is similar in a sense where your team is really going to need your utility to execute because there's so many close corners. There's so many ways in KAYO can support his teammate. The first thing we're going to do is focus on the Dagger. For this first Dagger, you just want to hug into this little corner at the hut and aim at this little arch. But through the window, you'll notice here there's another window like across the building here. That's where you want to throw it. You just want to throw it in the top part of that window across here. What it does is it clears everything under the switch, and it's the closest you can get to clearing the entire site with a Dagger pre-round without having to set up a lineup. It's super simple and super easy to do, and it clears out so much, gives so much information for these close corners on the left. The second Dagger here is to clear in case there's anybody opping. Say, for example, you've been playing with a jet or a chamber who's been playing close, or somebody's been taking this left corner. The second Dagger really is thrown into B main to clear these closer corners. And so you want to just make sure for your teammates that you're clearing these corners so that you can focus on other angles. KAYO's utility is so unique in the sense that it's so large and it gives so much information. And most of the times if somebody's playing this corner and they get suppressed, especially a jet, they'll less likely be able to take this shot with the chance of getting to safety. The second Dagger here is if you clear these corners and you want to make sure that CT is empty, you still have your Dagger. You want to aim it at the giraffe in this corner and toss it. It'll make sure that it'll let you know if there's anybody in the market or if there's anybody playing CT. So in summary, here are the Daggers really quickly. You want to throw the first one in the arch to clear anybody at the switch. The largest one, a close Dagger in B main in case somebody's pushing. Maybe they're hiding in here with the judge. The final one is if you haven't used your Dagger, say you have like a Sova or a Sky that initiates and clearing out these corners, you can use your Dagger to clear out Market or anybody's CT, making sure that they can't take these more defensive angles. And for flash, I really just have one default flash, which is through this window, just like here. So what you want to do is you want to aim just at the top line of the arch so it clears the window. If you throw it too low, it'll hit the wall and it'll flash your teammate. So here's what that might look like. So if you don't throw above the giraffe's head, it bounces off this wall and it'll flash anybody trying to execute for your team. So aim high, flash it through the window, and here's what it looks like on the other side, just so you can see where it actually hits. So if you see where this flash hit, it actually clears out anybody who's camping at switch, logs, or at the market here. Because it lands right in the middle, and if you plan this timing right, as your duelists are going in, these people have to play anti-flash, or they'll have to get flashed. So it gives your teammate that extra timing to win those one-on-one battles that you need. You can follow it up with like short flash like this if it's smoked off, but if you're really looking for that pinpoint timing, I would highly recommend this flash for any of your duelists or anybody who's pushing through the smoke or anybody who's going in first. It's a really supportive flash. You can also throw a second flash out the second window to clear anybody on the speedway. If they've been playing like a Sova over here, it's a very common Killjoy or Sova spot. So if they're sitting here with like an Odin or something, you can really throw this over and it clears both sides. So in case somebody's pushing, they can just focus on one angle. So once again, just aim it high so it goes through the thing, and then a second flash would just be flashing it through the arches here. Alright, so next we're going to jump into the nade and what you can do. So usually when I'm playing KAYO, I'm playing a pretty supportive role. You clear out these angles. You can really just take the nade to... You're just clearing out these corners so you can focus on certain angles, whether that's clearing the logs, whether that's throwing at a boathouse or at CT, clearing up market. Wherever you decide or situationally where the game has been kind of going, you want to make sure that you're throwing it to really just close up these angles to get your team into certain positions, better angles to be in certain battles. If you want to do a lineup, I have a lineup here. You just hug this corner at the back wall. And if you look up to this guy here, you'll notice that there's just this like really light cloud. It looks kind of like a triangle. You just want to aim at the center of the triangle and toss it up. I'll do this sometimes in the beginning of the round if we're playing aggressive, and I'll just toss it over. It goes over this roof here and it lands at the market. What's effective about this nade is that it makes sure that this one tiny angle can't be seen as your team is pushing through. It's usually smoked as well, so they're not able to like take a shot, come back into the smoke, you know, kind of just jiggle peek of smoke here. So it's really nice to just push it off. If you have a jet that dashes in, shuts the door, just really make sure it clears the angle. So here's what it looks like if you're doing the whole kit. If you're doing the dagger, if you're going to do the flash, the timing can be very quick for your teammates. You just wait, you communicate it, you execute all your utility, and this will really help you take a site. This full combination between a nade, the flash, and the dagger is incredibly powerful as a support of KAYO. I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like it, please don't forget to comment and sub. And if this is something y'all like to see, I can make more in the future. Thanks so much for watching.